You are listening to the Kentucky X-Files Season 3 with your hosts Dennis Mays, Tyler Stewart, and Josh Gibbs. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also visit us at www.kyxfiles.com. And now, on to our show.
Sent. Whenever after you do a full send, does somebody go, that was fully sent?
They should.
Yeah. And who receives? Who receives it?
Right.
Welcome back, guys, to your Kentucky X-Files.
Ow!
Ooh,
Ow!
that was a gentle owl.
It was. I'm trying to go easy today. Well, we're back. We're back. It's Sunday
Back
morning
again.
early after being fucking roasted alive for the last 5 days.
Yeah.
That shit's rough, man.
Oh, rough.
That is rough.
Rough.
Josh has got something going on there.
Shit's moving around in the studio on its own. You can't make this up. I swear.
What are we seeing?
The cord that Ty uses to plug his bass into, you know how it's looped up on the mic stand here?
Yeah.
But it just started falling down very slowly. And it caught my attention because there's something fucking moving, and
Yeah.
it shouldn't be moving. Okay.
Spookiness.
Yeah.
Spookiness in the studio.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, I was saying before we hit record, I got a little bit more information about the congressional hearing on the UAP phenomena. And I was asking these guys before, I didn't know if I kept accidentally calling it disclosure or not, but it's not. The disclosure was an absolute joke. This congressional hearing is kind of addressing that.
Yeah. Yeah, they did in the first one. We watched part of it where he was like, even though this stuff is public, it seems like sometimes it's very difficult for the public to get this.
Yeah.
And
it's like we sit there and looked at it on the show, and it was like black line, black line, black line, black line.
If that's even the right one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I searched for days trying to find this disclosure documents, and I don't even think I found the right ones. I have no idea. You know what I mean? Like, it was for something that was supposed to be public knowledge. It was near impossible to get.
Yeah.
And I hate that, man. It's like, if you're going to disclose it, make it easy,
Yeah, like disclose it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like saying like hey, I'm going to show you this information.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Right.
Hey, it's
there
here.
It is.
Right.
You got to be quick.
We are in the age of information, but the problem is that all of our information is an Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we have
Absolutely.
It's with everything these days. Like, actual information, getting the true information is near impossible.
Yeah.
You have to work way too hard. And I don't agree with that. I don't think it should be like that.
Right.
And let's talk about Easter. Like, who thought of that? I was pissed when I was a kid, and I'm like, you're making me run around out here trying to find this tiny piece of candy. Just give me the candy. God, come on.
Yeah, Santa Claus puts it in an easy location.
I think he's an alien.
I see that.
Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah. Could Santa Claus be an alien? Possibly. I know the other night when we were jamming, I brought up that there is a theory out there that even places God as an alien. Like the all creative force possibly could have been an alien. May not have survived the creation though. because you gotta cause a bunch of hell to make physics happen in a dead universe.
Yeah.
Chances of survival is very, very slim. I don't know. We'll save that for some other time, though. Holy crap, that shit's a mind. Well, it's a mind something.
I
That
definitely would love to get into it because we had somewhat of a decent conversation with each other.
Well, I mean,
on it.
we could make 3 episodes out of it. It would be Denny explaining the theory, and then us on the second episode trying to get him to explain it again so we understand it.
Yeah. Sorry, I was getting a cup of coffee. Could you repeat that?
All
then-
assuming that I even understood what I was trying to explain. you
Right.
know?
And then the third episode, we could actually discuss the content of the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. We could react.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody out there that if you're interested in that, check out the fine tuning theory, and check out the I think it's like the dead multiverse theory, or I don't know, but the 2 are pretty closely linked. Mind-blowing stuff. A lot of people who are devoutly religious are definitely going to love these theories because they sort of do kind of make room for something kicking off everything. The only downside is that that's pretty much the end of where they play along.
Right.
They don't really support an ongoing creator. It supports that somebody way back then may have kicked it off, but the chances of them making it through it are very slim. It's wild though. It's really wild, and I'm probably getting it wrong. So go read it for yourself and comment. Let us know if you find something like good reading on it or something, because I'm very, very interested in that subject. Should we tell them about the Lexington? Should we tell them about that?
Hey,
Should we tell them about it? I mean,
we haven't got confirmation, but they took our money.
okay. So let's see. As of right now, there is a solid 50-50 chance that you can come to Lexington and hang out with us. What's the date on it? Do you know offhand?
Give me 1 second. I'll get that. It's in November.
November something.
19th.
The whole month of November.
Not the whole month.
Not the whole month of November.
No.
All the days in the month.
18th to the 19th of November. Or hold on. This says 22.
So we're going back in time.
Going back in time.
That checks out.
I guess I'm just assuming that that's the same date because they don't have the dates currently up.
Okay.
Well, no, there it is. They just didn't edit the main page, but it does say the 18th and the 19th of 2023.
All right.
November 18th and 19th.
And I think they really need to know what they're going to in Lexington on these days.
Yeah, we're just going to Lexington.
Yeah, just
once you get there, you got to find us.
Yeah, we might be.
Where is Waldo?
We might be at Buc-ee's. We might be at Bojangles Chicken.
Yeah,
totally stop at a Buc-ee's.
Yeah,
I love the beaver nuggets.
Not going to touch that. Not going to touch it.
I have like 30.
You
and
never
I'm not
had Buc-ee's beaver nuggets?
I just like hearing you say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Buc-ee's
guess
beaver
we're
nuggets.
just. I guess we're just going to be immature on this episode.
The CryptidCon. Apparently, the CryptidCon. So we might go hang out, and I know we got some new stickers. We got some stuff. I'm gonna try to see if I can wrangle up a few T-shirts to take with. And if you find us, can't miss us. Come up to us. No, we'll give you some free shit. Give you some free shit. Give you a little smack on the butt and send you on your way
till it runs out.
Till it runs out.
We'll say this: we don't have a booth. I wanted us to try to get a booth this year, but
it's expensive as shit.
Yeah,
it is expensive, but still, that's something for next year. Like I 100% say that when next year, when they're starting to take vendors and like people at the booths, I think we should definitely try to go for that. But hopefully we were able to, because we went ahead and we're sponsoring the actual Crypticon. Like there's certain levels that you can sponsor, and it kind of help us promote our show and stuff of that nature. And plus, I've heard so many good things about this, so
I actually
I
heard a lot of good things
yeah,
about the
but-
CryptidCon.
yeah,
Surprisingly,
yeah.
I didn't expect all the what do
And
you
they
call it
got
about it.
some crazy good names on like speakers and like guests that are coming for this year. We got Dr. Jeff Meldrum is coming. David Politis is going to be there.
Holy crap!
Yeah. So
Can't wait.
like they're gonna have some decent amount. And I like this one. Like we said before, like the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot conference was awesome, but
It's cool
I
to see it. Yeah,
it was cool to see it, but I like this one because there's multiple. They're not just focusing on one thing. They're not just focusing on the big guy or the big woman. Like I don't think we're
yeah.
allowed to say.
We're
I
not
don't think
allowed
we're
to
allowed to say
assume
this.
Bigfoot's a male or female.
No, not that. I was just saying it's like I don't
Never
think I am
mind.
allowed.
Hey, redacted.
Just black out the screen.
Yeah, done.
Put a black line over my mouth. But yeah, this one's gonna have a lot more stuff involved. Like people probably going to talk about Bigfoot, aliens, the Wendigo, like just like all that stuff.
Mothman,
Mothman. So like I love that, like because there's a little bit
Nessie,
more.
Champy.
Yeah. So I
Guys,
can't
don't
wait
mind.
to
I'm gonna
actually.
redact what I said real quick. That should take care of it.
I mean, it redacted the entire show. That was
I couldn't find one, small enough,
right.
It's like I'm about to tell you some mind-blowing shit about some stuff. How's that? Huh? I agree
You
with
heard
you
it
though.
here first.
The Bigfoot convention is fun, but it does seem a little weird for our show because we're kind of all over the place. And
Just talk about the mysteries of the world, not just one.
yeah, not just
because
one.
that's one big piece of the mysteries of this world.
Well,
Maybe.
It's like I was saying after band practice, the Bigfoot stuff is more religion now than anything,
It definitely is.
I feel like
following.
but I get that too, but I feel like to lend hand to people because they're definitely seeing something. No one is gonna like base their life around something like this for decades if they didn't feel something was out there
or profitable.
I get the whole profit, but I'm talking about people that literally have seen something, but they're not making anything off of what they've seen.
And I've said it 100 times on the show. I believe that some of these people are actually seeing shit in the woods. I want to know what it is they're seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it could be something way different than what we're expecting it to be. Everybody wants to join on the bandwagon and say, like, oh, you heard this? It has to be Bigfoot. Oh, it's Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot. Let's calm it down there, Scooter. Let's take all the information in and then make the assumption.
Yeah.
Not just like this, Bigfoot.
Right. But, the Bigfoot stuff, as with religion, all miracles stopped with the advent of a camera. As soon as we started getting cameras in our pockets, all of these fascinating events suddenly are just word of mouth.
And I would love to dive into the AI Bigfoot Armageddon that's happening as we speak.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's self evident now.
Yeah.
AI is here, and I'm sorry, but everything from cryptids to UFOs from this point forward is going to be much more difficult.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I wanted to add this though. My kids are trying their hardest to get me to take them to Point Pleasant for the Mothman Festival. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off, but if for some reason a miracle happens and I can take them to it, I don't know what your guys' availability is, so I didn't want to speak for you on this, but if it comes down where I do go, I will be representing the KYXF, and I'll have stuff with me to talk to people. You know what I mean? So we'll see as it gets closer. I'll definitely bring it up again. But you know, I want a UFO convention.
Yeah, but those are
But
expensive.
they're expensive. Holy
Crazy.
shit, they're expensive.
Crazy expensive.
I want to believe it's because they like. I had this talk with someone down at the Bigfoot show. It was like, man, you guys, you gotta hand it to the UFO guys though. Like nothing against anybody. If you get out there and you research and you're interested in a subject, dude, do it. Because you never know. You could find something that blows everybody's mind in regards to the Sasquatch. That'd be great. But I have to admit, when like 90% of the time when you talk to people about this subject, that subject in particular, you're like, hey, they're like, oh, I seen this and I seen this. And you're like, oh man, did you get any video of that or whatever? No, I didn't get it. The UFO guys start with that. Dude, look at this thing I filmed, dude. Look at that. They're like holding it up to you, like, look,
Yeah.
you see that crazy shit? Look at that. And then you're like, man, that has to be a drone or something, right? Right? But you're not sure. You're like, oh, Jesus, I don't know if it is a drone. What is that?
I watched an episode of Unsolved Mysteries last night before bed. It was an old episode.
No.
Old Robert Stack episode, if that tells you. Like, we're going way back.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the episode was about a woman who had lights in the sky happening behind her place. And she had 8mm film of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, dude. There you go. I mean,
and you can't. That's the thing, though, is like you can't say what it is, but at least there's something.
yeah.
It's
There's
not a
something
it's not a red circle in
substantial.
the woods.
Yeah.
It's not a red circle in the tree line. It's lights freaking moving in the sky that are moving in a way that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And it's night after night after night.
All right. I know last episode we started looking at this congressional hearing. I want to get back into that and watch a little bit more of it with you guys.
Definitely.
And the one big thing I was saying earlier that I heard was the overlying issue with the hearing is not disclosure. It has more to do with providing a way for professional pilots and military pilots, or I don't know why we distinguish. I mean, in my opinion, they're all professional pilots at that point. I guess you'd say military and commercial.
Yeah.
They want to provide a way for those people to be able to log their reports of these things they're seeing.
Right.
And it's literally, it's going towards something that I've said for a while is you got to like log this shit, because if you can't figure out a pattern to it, you can't make a science of it. And that's what they're trying to do. They want to make a science of this to start understanding. So I'm all for this.
Right.
I'm definitely not going against what Tyler was saying on the last one about the idea of using it as a method of control, because I think that there's valid points to be made there.
Right.
I just there's a part of it where it's like you could use it for that, and I know there's a lot of people out there who are really behind that, and they call it the big ugly. And I do find it odd that they call the theory the big ugly, and then the congressional hearing happens right after it. They said that, oh, there's going to be a big alien thing, and they're going to use this as a way to like implement fear. The thing is, though, is that it's having the opposite effect. I don't know if that's a backfire or what, but most people aren't getting afraid; they're getting interested. And a lot of
Right.
people who've seen this weird shit are going. So they're finally talking about it.
Right.
Well, hot damn, they're finally talking about it. You know, and I think that the idea behind this is, at least for the people at the hearing, at the congressional hearing, the officials there, it really does seem to me like the heart might be in the right place on this, because they seem to be as frustrated as most of us. You know, some of the quotes I've heard, and some of the things I've said, or I've heard them say, where they're literally like, you know, what did one guy say? Like, how come we have all this, billions of dollars missing from the Defense Department? He goes, if I sell $600 worth of stuff on eBay, the IRS calls me that day. He's like,
Right.
but there's, all these billions of dollars missing, and there's nowhere to show for it. So I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, not only is he like kind of showing you his colors, dude, he's going after the biggest, nastiest bear there is.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, I guess it's trying to show you, like, dude, I'm not pulling punches today. And I like that. And I, honestly feel like, other than like the guys that are working on like human trafficking and stuff, I do feel like this is an important issue to be working towards.
Yeah.
Because we got fucking lights in the skies that are flying around in ways that we currently don't understand, and our absolute most high-tech equipment can't keep up.
Not only lights, we also have objects.
Objects, yeah.
Some of this stuff is seen in broad daylight. Like the pilot, David, fuck, I can't remember his last name, starts with an F, from the Nimitz.
Yeah.
That whole incident was in broad daylight.
Yeah. So
And like he said, of course they released the most grainy video they have. They didn't release the radar.
Yeah. They wouldn't release that, but they released the grainy, hard to look at video.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing, was they're like, why if we have all this evidence, why are you only releasing, you know what I mean? Why hold back?
Right.
What's the point? Is it just you want to get ahead a little bit on the information?
Maybe.
I don't know. But I got the hearing up right where we left off. You guys want to look at a little bit more of it and see what some of these guys have to say. All right, here we go. And let's max out this. Hopefully we don't got no ads.
Garcia.
Thank you. Again, thank you all for your service and for testifying today. Want to just talk about UAPs as it relates to what we're seeing in pilots' interaction with UAPs. Particularly, Mr. Graves, one of the concerns for members of this committee is this idea that pilots, there's no system to actually report UAPs and the stigma around pilots. And so can you just briefly, you mentioned that you're working with 30 pilots right now that have had encounters with UAPs, but you've also, I believe, discussed and know of many more pilots. This is just those that you're currently working with. Is that correct? Can you expand on that?
Certainly. I'll break that down in two ways. First, when we were first experiencing these objects off the eastern seaboard in the 2014 to 2015 time period, anyone that had upgraded their radar systems were seeing these objects. So there was a large number of my colleagues that were detecting these objects off the eastern seaboard. They were further correlating that information with their other onboard sensors, and many of them also had their own eye sightings as well of these objects. Now, that was our personal firsthand experience at the time. Since then, as I've engaged this topic, others have reached out to me to share their experiences, both on the military side as well as the commercial aviation side. On the military aviation side, veterans that have recently got out have shared their stories and have expressed how the objects we were seeing in 2014, 2015 continued all the way to 2019, 2020, and beyond. And so it became a generational issue for naval aviators on the eastern seaboard. This was something we were briefing to new students. This is something that was included in the notice to airmen to ensure that there was no accidents. And now with commercial aviators, they are reaching out because they're having somewhat similar experiences as our military brothers and sisters, but they do not have any reporting system that they can send this to.
And let me just add, both to Mr. Fravor as well as Mr. Graves, not having this system for reporting, would you both agree that is harmful to not just our national security interests, but to understand this phenomenon of what's happening with UAPs?
I think it's actually a travesty that we don't have a system to correlate this and actually investigate. So if you took the East Coast, there's coastal radars out there that monitor our air defense identification zone, so out to 200 miles. They can track these, so when you see them, they could actually go and pull that data and get maneuvering. And instead of just having the airplanes, there's other data sources out there. And I've talked to other government officials on this. So you need a centrally located repository that these reports go to. So if you just stuck it in DOD, you wouldn't get anything out of the Intelligence Committee because they have a tendency to not to talk. But if you had a central location where these reports would come in, not just military, but also commercial aviation, because there's a lot of that going on, especially if you talk to anyone that flies from here to Hawaii, over the Pacific, they see odd lights. So I think you need to develop something that allows you a central point to collect the data in order to investigate.
Mr. Graves?
I would concur with everything Mr. Fravor said. I'll continue to say that the commercial pilots that have reached out to me through Americans for Safe Aerospace are doing so because they don't feel there's another way for them to report this safety issue.
And I think one of the clear outcomes of this hearing already is that there has to be a safe and transparent reporting process for pilots, both on the commercial side and the military side, to be able to report UAPs in a way that's also transparent, but also understands the scope of our national security interests and what may be classified or not. But I think there has to be some sort of system. And so that's something.
That's what he just said there. That's essentially the point of the whole thing, is to come up with a way for these guys to safely report this stuff. And I sent you guys over the PDF of the preliminary assessment of unidentified aerial phenomenon from June 25th, 2021. It's the same document that he's talking about earlier.
They've had this for over 2 years in the works.
This dude, he's been trying to work on this for years now, and it's
which one? Was it the first whistleblower or the other two?
It's let me back up. Mr. Graves, yeah.
Oh, he's the one that did it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's been primarily trying to establish a way for these pilots to come forward.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing that, he's basically showing what I sent to you guys. This is an official notice that goes out. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you're gonna see this stuff, and this is what we know so far. So that whole assessment is there.
Yeah, he says that they even debrief the new students.
Yeah.
On it. That says a lot.
Now, I tried to get that document, the Notice to Airmen document, and the whole website was down.
Of course.
So I don't know I don't know what's going on with that, but hopefully, apparently you could get it. I mean, I don't know.
But what I like the most, in a way I kind of like this is that Graves, he literally did establish, like, he doesn't know what it is, and he's not going to speculate like what it might, like, he only will say is like, if it's something that's not human, we need to know about it. If it's a foreign country and we don't know about it, we need to know about it. And like, that's kind of like what he is. And he has the one guy next to him, God dang it, what's his name? That guy that had that top clearance shit.
Oh, yeah.
And he even says he was the first big whistleblower in the last couple months about this. And he says that you've seen spacecrafts that we've had that are not of human origin. He's not like, Graves is not just jumping on his bandwagon. He just knows that there could be a link between these two, but he's wanting to at least say if it is like non-human origin, like there's definitely a link in some way. So I that's kind of like, they're not just doing like what like what a lot of these people in these unexplained phenomenon, like they'll just like, oh
See,
yeah, like okay, he's seen that, so my experience means it's part of his, and we're just gonna get together. It's like,
right?
yeah, I hate that. It's like, no, just let's take it
Yeah.
one step at a time.
And I mean, for those that aren't caught up, the man David Grush, uh, he
David
was
Crush.
he was a previous member of. I mean, he was an intelligence member of what do you call it, the Pentagon. So, I mean, the dude was privy to a lot of stuff, which he does get into. And let's see the other guys. I mean, that's the one thing. It's like you've had people come forward for years, but never of this caliber. You know, David Grush, retired Air Force. You know, what do we got here? Ryan Graves.
And
He was former. Oh no, Ryan Graves is executive director of Americans for Safe Aerospace. The other one is former commanding Navy officer David Fravor. I'm probably saying that wrong.
Fravor.
Fravor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
you got some high caliber guys coming forward. So I feel like why would these guys?
Right.
Like why
Yeah.
would they do it? If they weren't passionate about it, why would they bother? You know, let's get back into it. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's kind of like when we talked about that one. I guess you would say he's a whistleblower, but he was a commanding officer in a military like base where it had nuclear weapons, a nuclear base, and then they said that they saw something flying over the area, but it never like I don't think it ever came into their perimeter, and that's what they said. Like, if it comes into our airspace, basically light it up. Like that's it. Like I feel like that's the thing when it comes to military things. That's when I start to like get like my interest gets piqued because think about the like just the harm by just calling 911 and pranking them.
Right.
Like you'll get some serious shit just as a civilian. But if you're in the military and you pull a prank, you will get like, oh my god, I don't even want to like think about what is going to happen to you because of that. That is like so. Like when I hear somebody's like, okay, I need to dig into this because there is a chance. Like if they're talking saying that this is not a prank, it's like, come on, like, yeah, like
Yeah.
it's not like how we dive into like the Bigfoot and everybody says it's a suit. Somebody's wearing a suit. Okay, I can bite, but okay, this is military, man. You can't play pranks on the military. They don't take jokes very lightly.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the whole time this is going on, Bob Lazar's looking at you as if to say, I fucking told you so. I fucking told you.
I was just about to ask that, like when you were saying it's been like this in a while. This is the first time we've had like this kind of a caliber of people. Like their credentials are through the roof. It's like what about Bob Lazar? I've never understood what was his like position in all of this. Was he just a scientist that was at like say I don't know if you said it was Area 51 or wherever this may be, like that's I never knew what his full title was, like what gave him access to all this stuff.
Interestingly enough, Bob Lazar has not, as far as I know, has not publicly responded to any of this. I know that there's supposed to be plans in the work where he's eventually going to speak to these officials. I don't know what's going on there, but I really feel like that's a what do you call it? A delicate subject for all involved. because although he has, some pretty substantiated claims about UFOs and about extraterrestrials, all that stuff, there's a whole other side of his story that is also intertwined in that, which is he basically claims that because of everything that happened, he was deleted. His life was ruined. His finances were drained. His credentials were stripped of him, all the way down to his education, everything. So I feel like that's going to be a touchy subject, because if everything Bob Lazar says is true, somebody up high has a lot of explaining to do. Like, hey, why did we decide to ruin this dude's life again? If you're admitting all this shit now, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because some of what Bob Lazar said, one of these guys that's in this hearing, their story goes along with it, which is interesting. So I'm interested in seeing how that plays out over the next couple of years. How are they going to dance around that subject? They better be cutting Bob some big checks, is all I can say.
Like, no shit.
If they did that nasty shit to him, deleted him, you know what I mean, stripped his credentials, basically made him, whatever, you know what I mean, then he's about to be a martyr. So they better cut him some big checks. Like, here, we're sorry we screwed you over. Here's, several $100 million. Go enjoy your life, dude. Don't worry about UFOs anymore.
It's kind of like what I'm trying to look up his name, but there's a professor at was it Harvard or somewhere that was talking about the meteor, the Jason Momoa comet.
Yeah.
He's he's trying to say that it could have been a spacecraft and stuff, and people with this is like suicide in all these people's fields to
Yeah.
say this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Why
It's
would
a
you
stigma.
wait?
Huge stigma.
I'm sorry, you can't tell me, okay, when you're a professor at a very high end college or a government official, you're making shitload of money. Most people would just turn the other cheek and just okay, I'm getting paid. It's not screwing with my money. I'm leaving.
Right.
But if you're literally going to commit career suicide,
Right.
you have to be certain, at least in the 90s.
Sure.
Because shit, I love not saying this is has anything substantial. I love this show, but I can't say that I'm going to quit my job for it right now because it's not making me money.
Yeah.
It's it's
Right.
it's those things. You're literally just going to shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Because of that. But I get it. When you're passionate about something, you will try to make people understand, at least hear your side of the story.
Oh yeah. I get it. Yeah. All right. Let's dig in a little bit more. Let's hear what this guy has to say.
Hey, Mr. Graves, Mr. Fravor.
Yes, the objects that are being seen by commercial pilots are performing maneuvers that are unexplainable due to our current understanding of our technology and our capabilities as a country. And that applies for the military as well.
Mr. Fravor.
Yeah, I concur with that. We have nothing that can stop in midair and go the other direction, nor do we have anything that can, like in our situation, come down from space, hang out for 3 hours, and go back up.
Thank you. My last question, and sometimes I know that you have also said some of these answers in the past, but we're trying to get them on the public record as well, which is really important. Mr. Gresh, finally, do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
And where?
I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General, and some of which to the intelligence committees. I actually had the people with the firsthand knowledge provide a protected disclosure to the Inspector General.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I would just say that I think that these questions are important questions, and I look forward to being involved in the process to get those answered. I know there'll be a lot of questions from the committee members. So
I don't know if you guys paid attention
Thank
to
you.
that
We'll go to
right
Mr.
there,
Richardson.
but that might have been one of the most important parts of this hearing. Not only does he believe that, yes, they're there, but he has the exact locations of where those UAPs are being held. And the follow-up just like meeting that they're going to have, I forget what they called it, a skiff. I don't know. Is where they're going to disclose that to Congress. And they were given protected disclosures for that information.
Oh, okay. So they wasn't going to do that for publication.
They can't do that in the public forum because the locations themselves are top secret. But
okay.
they can do a meeting where they turn over that information, and then I don't know what the Congress is going to do from there, but I'm excited to find out.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Garcia. I would like to have you on my legislation to do just that on the reporting, and we'll get together on that. Maybe you can be my co-sponsor on that.
Mr.
That'd be really cool.
Burchett,
Thank
man,
you.
he's a
Great
firecracker.
questions. Mr. Graves, again, I'd like to know, how do you know that these were not our aircraft?
Some of the behaviors that we saw in a working area, we would see these objects.
Didn't they
being at
just
0.0
explain that?
Mach, that's
Yeah.
zero airspeed over certain pieces of the ground. So what that means, just like a river, if you throw a bobber in, it's going to float downstream. These objects were staying completely stationary in Category 4 hurricane winds. These same objects would then accelerate to supersonic speeds, 1.1, 1.2 Mach, and they would do so in very erratic and quick behaviors that I don't have an explanation for.
Okay. Have you spoken to commercial and military pilots that have seen these off of our East Coast?
I have.
Okay. Mr. Favor, I noticed that in the Tic Tac video, it's Tic Tac like the candy, not TikTok like the Chinese communist app.
That's correct.
Yes, sir. I just want to make that because my daughter corrected me on that and called me a boomer and said, "Hey, boomer," and I said, "No, baby, it's Tic Tac like the candy. You don't have to just look it up." And
I like this,
and
dude.
I would also like to say today is a day of many firsts. It's a miracle that we're having this meeting, and it's also a miracle that my wife has put up with me for 9 years today. Today is my anniversary, so I want to tell my wife happy anniversary and that I love her very much. As she likes to say, this 9 years have been the best 2 years of her life. So thank you. Mr. Favor, what astonished you the most about the flight capabilities of these Tic Tac, very briefly?
The performance, absolute performance. It was.
And you're not aware of any other objects that anybody in the world has in this world that has those capabilities?
No, I think it's far beyond actually our material science that we currently possess.
Are you aware of any other reconnaissance platforms that have tracked or recorded the Tic Tac's maneuvers, maybe the NORAD system or any of the others?
I am not.
Okay. Mr. Grush, thank you for being here, brother. Thank you all very much. Have you faced any retaliation or reprisals for any of your testimony or anything on these lines?
Yeah, I have to be careful what I say in detail because there is an open whistleblower reprisal investigation on my behalf, and I don't want to compromise that investigation by providing anything that may help provide somebody information. But it was very brutal and very unfortunate, some of the tactics they used to hurt me both professionally and personally, to be quite frank. Yeah.
It's very unfortunate. As they say, when you're over the target, that's when they do the most firing at you. Do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes. Personally.
Have anyone been murdered that you would think that you know of or have heard of, I guess?
I have to be careful asking that question. I directed people with that knowledge to the appropriate authorities.
Maybe in a, if we could get in a confidential area skiff, we could talk about that. But unfortunately, we were denied access to the skiff, and that's very unfortunate in this scenario. Mr. Favor, do you believe that you witnessed an additional object under the water in relation to your encounter?
I will say we did not see an object. There was something there to cause the whitewater, and when we turned around, it was gone. So there was something there that obviously moved.
Okay, it was not the same object though that you were looking at, correct?
No, we actually joked that the Tic Tac was communicating with something when we came back, and because the whitewater disappeared.
We were in another instance, we're told about the capabilities of a jamming during viewing of when there were some people chasing some of these objects. Did you experience any of that jamming or interrupting your radar or weapons system?
My crew that launched after we landed experienced significant jamming to the APG-73 radar, which was what we had on board, which is a mechanically scanned, very high-end system prior to the APG-79. And yes, it did pretty much everything you could do: range, velocity, aspect, and then it spit the lock, and the targeting pod is passive. That's what we were able to get the video on.
I'm about to run out of time, but are you aware of any of our enemies that have that capability?
This brand new swing trainer is quickly becoming the most popular gift of 2023. It eliminates the hassle of
Okay, I
Definitely have to
would
edit
also
that.
like to note for the record that, like George Knapp breaking Area 51, he's the reason I knew about that, and the reason I know about the Tic Tacs is Leslie Keene from New York Times article, and I would encourage everybody to read that.
George
Thank
Knapp.
you, Mr. Chairman. Yield back to you for no time.
Very good. Mr. Raskin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Graves, you reported UAP encounters during training flights, I think, and have since come forward to warn the Pentagon that these encounters may be putting pilots at risk.
Did he just get off a motorcycle?
My first question is,
I don't know.
You've identified these as taking place on the East Coast. Is it just on the East Coast where these encounters?
This guy listens to Kentucky
have been
X-Files.
reported?
No,
Felix
since
Josh.
the events initially occurred, I've learned that the objects have been detected essentially where all operations, Navy operations are being conducted across the world. And that's from the All-Domain Anomaly Resolutions Office reporting.
All right, can you describe your experience after you decided to come forward and go public with your experience?
He is
Certainly.
going
Like many
through
others, in
radiation and
2017, I saw the New
chemotherapy.
York Times article come out.
So I
as
imagine
well.
that he's wearing that.
And for me, it was special because I recognized the voices on the video. I recognized
like an
the
ass.
video itself. I had seen it when it was taken. I seen it when it was.
He still
debriefed.
looks cool though.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of shook me because I realized that this problem was still ongoing. And so I reached out to colleagues back on the East Coast and realized that this was still a safety risk that they were dealing with, that they had essentially hit a wall with how they could move forward on this conversation. It was at that point when I decided to try to move the conversation forward myself.
Are there common characteristics to the UAPs that have been cited by different pilots? And can you describe what the convergence of descriptions is?
Certainly. We were primarily seeing dark gray or black cubes inside of a clear sphere.
I'm sorry, dark gray or black cubes?
Yes,
Yeah.
inside of a clear sphere, where the apex or tips of the cube were touching the inside of that sphere. And that was primarily what was being reported when we were able to gain a visual tally of these objects. And that occurred over almost 8 years. And as far as I know, it's still occurring.
That was actually in the missing 411.
So I take it that you're arguing what we need is real transparency in a reporting system so we can get some clarity on what's going on out there, because there are many pilots in your situation, but we should have a way of developing a systematic inventory of all of such encounters. Is that right?
Yes, and I think we need both transparency and the reporting. We have the reporting, but we need to make sure that information can be promulgated to commercial aviation as well as the rest of the populace.
Mr. Grush, what about you? What was your experience after you came forward?
Well, it's only been about 2 months or so. So I guess my experience has been overwhelming support from former colleagues of mine that have privately messaged me, and I do appreciate that. But I do have knowledge of active planned reprisal activity against myself and other colleagues, and it's very, very upsetting to me.
Coming from where?
Certain senior leadership.
That's
at previous agencies.
probably the best picture. That was taken by a news.
And that's all I'll say publicly, but I can provide more details in a closing.
Los Angeles.
Okay. Well, I hope you understand that there would be bipartisan rejection of any attempt